Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow, like making sure they've got the right gear for riding.
Knee pads.
Check.
And helmet?
Done. See you, Dad.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
Where to begin? How about at the beginning? This is Chris Reavers. That's Mike Fratelloni. This is the Weekly Scramble. Michael, I have so much to get to today with you in such a short amount of time.
It was really good because I walked in and I said, hey, I've been so busy. I haven't read one thing. I don't know any stories. You just give it to me. And you said, I'm going to give it to you because you got a lot.
You know, and so I've known you for a while. In fact, we were just discussing this. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that aren't familiar, Michael and I are going to celebrate with some of our old friends from when we used to do the show on the radio, the 10th anniversary of our show, which used to be called The Beer Show and is now called The Weekly Scramble. We're going to celebrate with some good old friends next week.
It seems unbelievable.
It really does.
Doesn't it? I mean,
well,
it's
and
just
I
so
always
exciting.
equate it to my oldest son was just barely a year old when we started doing this show. And I'm thinking, my God, you're right, because he's 11.
I just equated to my bald spot was just but a whisper on my head, top of my head. My crow's
And
feet
now we both
were
share one.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I could just feel old and tired. I've really felt tired the last couple of days.
Oh, I'm sorry. So is this your busy time of the year?
It's normally a quiet down, like it's quieting
because
down.
spring is gangbusters.
Like April, May, it's all in. And then June hits, and it's just things are busy. I had like some really fun things happen to me. Like 2 squirrels climbed down my chimney, proceeded to die, and my whole house reeked like dead squirrels.
Oh.
And my chimney just happens to be such that you can't just go down there and take them out. You have to rip the chimney out.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy amount of work. People have been at my house for like 3 days.
You're kidding.
No, ripping my chimney apart. So it's been
Because of 2 squirrels?
Yeah, but the whole house. I had people over. I'm like, I'm so sorry. We have dead squirrels. Can't get them out. We can see them on video, but can't get to them. Like we put a little camera down there. So just to add a little color, my chimney just happens to be like a really weird size. It's kind of a big chimney,
Sure.
right? And instead of having it being solid, so when you open the damper, like the flue or whatever, they would just fall out dead. There's a huge compartment behind it.
Oh, no.
That you just can't get to. Right, so
what purpose does that serve?
Don't know. I think at some point in time, someone said, this hearth area is too big. Let's close it down a little bit and make it a little smaller with new bricks. So I had to knock all those bricks out. And, that stuff, good thing is the skilled workers are really inexpensive nowadays. So it's just super cool. But everybody that was coming over, I would literally say, my girls would have friends over, and I'd say, hey, did you tell Jenny about the dead squirrel smell that our house normally doesn't smell like this, but we have dead squirrels in there?
Right.
And it will someday go away, but today it's like, yeah.
And for dinner, we're having squirrel.
It's squirrel.
Well,
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's a very nice problem to have, right?
Sure,
I'm lucky enough that I can afford to have somebody come on out there and help me do it because I attempted to do it myself. I bought a camera that hooks to my cell phone and has a long string, right? So, or a long cable so I could go up the damper and like turn around and look. But you just couldn't see the squirrels. They had buried themselves so deep. And the worst part was, and this is sad, there's like scratch marks up the chimney on the inside. Like they were like, we're trying to get the hell out of here.
We're done for.
This is not good.
Right.
And my wife's only reaction was, we should just have a big fire. And I'm like, I think that would be good, but all that's going to do is cook them a little bit more. Not
make the
them,
smell even worse.
Yeah, make them. Just then we'd have jerky smelling.
So I saw this story this morning, either this morning or late last night. I don't remember, but I immediately thought of us.
Okay, good.
And the beer show, because I believe that this was one of the stops we made on the first ever excursion as a group with the beer show.
Okay.
I'm almost 100% positive because back then, and you still are, you're Mr. St. Paul.
I like St. Paul.
And so we went out, we visited our friends at Tin Whiskers. and we made a stop at Alary's.
We attempted to. Oh, no, we did stop
We
at
did.
Alary's.
We stopped in there because remember, you'll remember why, and I'll explain in a second. But unfortunately, I saw the sad news that Alary's has decided to close its doors.
They did it to themselves.
And I'm so glad you had that reaction. So Alary's, this is dated 16 hours ago. Final decision, we will close our doors Sunday, June 18th. This isn't goodbye forever. It's goodbye for now. Celebrate the end of an era with us all week. Our last day open will be this Sunday, June 18th. New era coming soon, but let's send off Alary's in style. Watch for events nights to come this week. Michael, the floor is yours.
Well, I remember it is a cop bar.
It
was a cop bar, and you figured out that it was a cop bar because your dad's door,
this is why I love you,
was mounted on the wall, right?
We walked in there. I had been there one time previously, but I'm not a St. Paul goer. I'm on the complete opposite end.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to be at
town.
Alary's,
I mean, unless I'm going to a concert or go get yelled at Joe's house, there's really no reason for me to go to St. Paul. And so, or a Wild game. But I remember when we all went in there, I saw all the cool
cop stuff,
cop doors hanging from the roof of the bar, and I said, "Holy crap! That's my dad's squad car door."
What are the chances
hanging
of that?
from? It was he had hit a deer with his Rice County squad car, and because I remembered his number, and that was his number on the door, and they hung it from. And he's been retired for, oh my God, almost 20 years now.
I wonder if you could get that now that they're closing.
Oh, way ahead of you.
You're way ahead. Okay,
I texted, well, I'm going to say who I texted Lavelle, who's one of the biggest Alary guys. And I said, I need that door. If that's available, I'll even pay for it. I got to have that door to put in my garage, right?
Yeah, it would be totally cool.
Well, that and when my brothers and my dad come over, I say, hey, Dad, remember when you smoked that deer?
Yeah, there it is. There's the door.
Wouldn't that be something cool to have?
It would be a cool memorabilia.
Yeah,
it would absolutely.
And I wouldn't disrespect, anything about it. It was my dad's squad door.
It's totally respectful.
Yeah.
So what I think Alary's did is back in the day when it was a cop bar, and even a little bit after the cop bar, it was one of those. It was like a Hooters. It was like going to Hooters. The girls wore like scantily clad shorts and whatever, and it wasn't like naked people. It was just like a Hooters, and it wasn't anything more than a Hooters. It was just a Hooters, right? But in a bar in St. Paul, and then someone came in and said, "We can't do that anymore," and unlike other people. The people that drank at Alary said, "Oh, we don't want to come here anymore then."
Right. Like that's why we come here.
It was kind of cool seeing a girl talking to me because I'm a drinker and I want to sit in Alary's, and I'd much rather have a pretty girl talk to me than Chris or Mike, right? And I don't know. It's been a long. In fact, I don't know if I've been to Alary's since the time you and I went last.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, it's been years.
And that was a long time ago. That was a few years ago.
I'm sure COVID hurt it. I'm sure like the road construction and no real parking there. But
and the fact that very few people go downtown St. Paul.
Yeah, but
unless there's a show or unless there's a Wild game,
but a good bar can succeed anywhere, right?
That's a good bar.
And
good
they
point.
did have the Wild. They could have had what they might have been trying to do is try to catch Wild traffic. Like let's try to catch traffic on this side, and people don't want to go to a Hooters before a game, but it's like, well, they might. Right? You know, it might, or they don't want to just go to a nothing bar that offers nothing besides a bar in there. But do you remember when you went out Alary's, there was this back area? And it was just this sublime thing. You're standing in the back parking lot.
Oh, yes.
And remember that, like, the night was a little smoky. We were sitting there, and I'm like, where are we? And then right up the hill, you could see Tin Whiskers right up the alleyway. And I was like, what a cool thing. So I'm sad to hear I hate to have any bar close.
Right.
You know, it's like churches and bars. I don't want them to close.
But you kind of did it to yourself.
But I do not know that for a fact. For all I know, they could have gotten very aggressive.
The reason you're right. And the reason I guess I brought that part of it up is they posted this on social media.
Okay.
And so I'm looking right now at their Facebook post, and of course I had to just scroll through the comments, and that's basically what it said. You know, a lot of people saying, well, they dug their own. Here's one comment I'm going to just highlight. It's from somebody named Jimmy. They dug their own grave when they quit supporting law enforcement. They lost 75% of their clientele. It was a dumb move. Well, then that, of course, turns into back and forth about political reasons and things of that nature. But what he initially said technically isn't wrong.
Yeah, it was a cop bar, right? That's where cops went to drink. And it could be that there's just so many fewer cops nowadays, too.
I guess the part for me, well, and if you're a St. Paul cop, I'm going to guarantee the last place you want to go right now is to a bar in downtown St. Paul.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. But
St. Paul's pretty clean.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm just saying I'm just putting my...
You don't want to stick around.
In the mind of a because I know so many St. Paul cops. I knew one very, very well, and he didn't even live in St. Paul because he just, the second his shift was done, he needed to get out of the city just to clear his head, and I don't blame him. But I guess the reason I brought that part of it up was, the back and forth, but the rebranding part of it I also thought was a bit odd. Well, yeah, go ahead, go for it, but if you're going to reimagine a bar, is now the time to do that?
And if I'm not mistaken, I have not read the story. They've been around since the 70s. Does it say how long they were in business?
It just says the end of an era, and it says established. I can't see it on their actual sign outside of the establishment. It does say the year it was established. Unfortunately, I cannot.
I mean,
read
it's been it's been a bar for 50 plus years, right? So,
and a staple in that city.
We should open a cop bar someplace.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
A couple of hunks like us, we'd be like, yeah, come on, boys.
Can it be maybe less than a mile from my house?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I really don't.
Could it also, people think, is this a Hooters? Could people think it's a Hooters too?
That I might have a hard time selling that to my bride.
You could just say to your wife, what, do you not like police?
Yeah.
You could just say that to her.
Are you against America?
Yeah. You hate bald eagles, don't you?
Right.
You think they're funny because they're bald.
Okay. So there was a couple of things that I thought about getting into the whole issue of what happened at the White House, but we talked about it a little bit on GL about the
what happened.
Well, they had a pride celebration that kind of went amiss, so to speak, and now there has been issues, or not issues, but apologies sent out where a transgender. Is it a transgender man or a transgender woman? It was a man that is now a woman.
Transgender woman.
Okay, thank you. That was topless on the White House lawn. And that person has now been banned from the White House, and it was issued by Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre earlier today. So I don't really want to get into it, I guess, any more than it's already been discussed with Garage Logic earlier today. Sure, I guess. For me, it's a taste
confusing.
thing.
Things are getting.
It is.
What do you mean a taste thing? Like
have some
vanilla
tact.
Or,
No. Have some tact. Have some decency.
Okay, some class.
Go ahead and be transgender. I don't give a damn.
So this transgender woman was at the White House. I didn't see this, and she flashed everybody.
And the problem that everybody had with it was the president, Biden, saying these are some of the most courageous and brave people I know. To which a lot of people raised a hand and said, well, sure, but wait a minute.
I'm going to tell you, you'd have to be pretty courageous to flash your boobs in front of everybody. I would like to see more courage like that out of everybody in the community. Mm-hmm. Just any community. Just go for it, you crafty people.
Well, okay. So that was going to transition into the story I really wanted to get to you with.
Okay, well, I hadn't heard that story. That sounds like something you wouldn't do. Was the president near this person?
Oh, yeah. Posed for selfies and video.
I didn't catch that. I thought you meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
he was there.
You have a little decorum. Right? Have a little bit of taste.
And I know you'll have an opinion on this, but let me just read the story because this is making waves right now with what is considered the gender equality movement in this country. And it has to do with the NCAA.
Okay.
And on this particular story, the headline is, the NCAA has a hot girl problem. The Cavender twins, are you familiar with them?
Nope.
They have an apartment 8 floors above the sun-draped sprawl of South Florida. Their apartment is sleek, generic, devoid of personal detail. There are no photographs of parents or siblings, no refrigerator magnets, no books, except for quarterback Tim Tebow's latest meditation on God and the quest for personal meaning. The twins, Haley and Hannah, age 22, are 5'6", and they're not really two separate human beings as much as a single self-contained brand with 6.4 million followers across all platforms, including 4.5 million on TikTok as of early 2023. The former college basketball players turned full-time influencers had earned north of $2 million as collegiate athletes. Since then, they've signed endorsements and agreements with companies whose values they say align with theirs, including YouTuber Jake Paul's sports gambling outfit Better, BETR. This afternoon, the twins are debating on how they should announce their new agreement with Bucked Up, which sells energy boosters like Woke AF, a dietary supplement with Rocket Pop.
I love these names.
So there's outcry now in the fact that, well, why are they so much more popular on social media and have such a larger NIL deal than, let's say, me, Leah Thomas, a transgender swimmer?
Oh, okay.
And I want to point out to those, well, this is the case of supply and demand be what I'm looking at right here?
Yeah.
It's because, to those of you that are angry about this, they just simply have more people interested in what they're selling on their own.
There's more demand for a set of beautiful
platform.
twins than the supply of beautiful twins.
But
Ergo, the price goes up.
That right there in a nutshell is why we have so many confusing issues and confusing times in this country. I'm gathering you found the subject matter I'm talking about.
I did. I was able to look them up.
And the NIL deal is a big, big problem right now for the NCAA. And I'm going to use the word problem because they have no idea how to police it.
Yep.
They have no idea how to enforce it. And they have no idea where it's going.
Well, in reality, they shouldn't be able to police it. They shouldn't be able to enforce it because these girls, they never had something like this available to them 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
And
right?
this is a recent thing, I would say, within the last 5 years, where you're seeing now this is being a huge recruitment tool, especially in the world of football and college basketball, where star quarterbacks out of high school are saying, well, it starts with $1 million at NIL money. So you're the Alabama of the world. Well, you now have to go find either a booster or some sponsor and say, I need $1 million to get this particular quarterback to come to our campus.
And I get that. What they should do is, no, you get to make it. You can use your jersey and you can do all this stuff. You can't use your jersey in an ad for Bang energy drink or whatever they're doing. But they should say, that's your business. What you do on NIL, what you do on your social media is your business. Why should they be able to control that?
That's all well and good. The problem is some schools are finding out how easy it is to use this as a recruitment mechanism. And others are just saying, well, wait, you're going to get a free education. Well, that might have been a selling point 10 years ago.
Yeah, free education is $250,000. These girls are going to make $4 million a year. They don't care about. So one thing that I think is interesting is the popularity of sports athletes at a young age. Girls are going to earn much more money.
Oh, no
than
question.
Boys will. Who's the LSU gymnast who has like 20 million followers?
Yep.
And she had a really good point. She said, live like you're a poor college student. Don't look at the money. Don't think about the money. Don't go buy anything. Just put it all away and never think about it. She's making millions a year. And she's just a sweet, outstanding athlete, right?
Yep.
She's an outstanding athlete. But if she were not pretty, it wouldn't work.
Well, and that's why there was the argument being made of Caitlin Clark, the very, very talented basketball player for the University of Iowa, where she's got a massive NIL deal. I believe it's with Hy-Vee. And someone said, well, is she going to come out and go to the WNBA? And some are saying, well, why would she do that?
She makes more money.
She's going to make more money in NIL money, and she's going to become basically the face of women's college basketball next year, because every one of these students that's playing right now still has the chance to have one more season due to COVID. And so they had said, well, why wouldn't she want to pursue her dream as a professional player? And I'm thinking, well, stay in college, because college is awesome. You're going to make a ton of money. And each case is independently different. I get that. But in her case specifically, stay there and make money playing college basketball.
Is she a pretty girl? I don't know.
But hers is all about just her success.
Her skill and
because
success. Okay.
If they attach their name to her, whether it's, I don't know what shoe company endorses her, but I'm assuming there is one. My niece is a high school basketball player.
Yeah.
She is going to buy those shoes for Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark because they endorse them.
So I don't think you can get NIL money and just be a slug. You have to be both cool and an incredible performer.
And 4.5 million followers will help you get there.
Yeah, and that will do it, right?
Yep.
This Olivia Dunn, she's the LSU gymnast.
Yes.
Has a net worth of around $2.3 million, right? That was as of April 13th. So she's just going to college, earning a couple $1,000,000 as a gymnast. And I'm going to tell you, if you're not an Olympic gymnast, you're going to be a coach, right? You're not making $2.3 million for a long time in that business. So I think it's unfair to stop people from doing it. And in reality, they have personas. These kids have personas well before they were at any college. So why does the college get? And you could say to the college, granted, we can't get NIL deals college, but you can't say our names then on TV. You can't use our likenesses in your. You don't get to use us unless we in turn get to use you.
And I know when this subject had first been broached, I knew that the NCAA was in for a just complete,
they screwed themselves. They totally screwed themselves.
Complete disaster with all of this.
And then you look at schools like the fantastically beautiful University of Minnesota, and you think, well, they're not going to have any NIL money. They're not going to, this stupid transfer portal that anybody can leave any day you want. It's like, what are you doing? Like those years of having a dynasty at a school like Maryland or
those are done.
They're gone, right? It just doesn't happen. And what a shame, because it's just going to be the haves and the have-nots.
Right. Well, I would take NIL money from our friends at Harmony Spirits any day of the week. You know that. And you know what? We've had a great stretch of weather, and I did get a couple of great emails from people that took me up on swinging into the tasting room down there in Harmony, Minnesota. So thank you so much for supporting our friends down there in Harmony, Minnesota. You know what? It's going to be another beautiful weekend this weekend as well. Father's Day. Get Dad a bottle of barrel strength bourbon. Go into your local liquor store. If you don't get the chance to get down to Harmony, Minnesota, get Dad some barrel strength bourbon from Harmony Spirits.
And you know, when you're contemplating getting the number one Dad T-shirt,
don't do that.
Yeah,
Dad
he
wants
already
booze.
knows he's number one.
Right, Dad wants booze.
He wants booze.
Yes.
Get him something from Harmony. That's how you tell him your dad's number one.
HarmonySpirits.net. That is their website, and they also do a really cool job of rotating great craft cocktails in that tasting room. So the other thing, you know what you could do? Call them up and say, what are you featuring right now down there at the tasting room? Mm-hmm. They'll let you know. And then you know what else is really, really cool? They'll also teach you and tell you how to make it. So if you don't want to make the drive, call them up. Say, hey, what are you featuring right now in the tasting room? I'm going to go to my local liquor store. I'm going to go to Elevated, and I'm going to go grab myself some vodka, some rum, whatever I'm in the mood for. Call them up and say, hey, how do you make that one thing? And you can make it at home.
Do you know how to get to Harmony, Minnesota?
Absolutely.
Like, do you take 52 or how do you get down there?
I will, because we did the camping excursion, and I actually left there from here, so I did take 52 down.
Because that's a beautiful ride.
Oh, it's awesome.
Right? You get through Cannon Falls, and is it south of Zimbrota and stuff like that?
It's basically on the Minnesota, very close to the Minnesota-Iowa border.
Oh, it's all the way down that far. But it's a very pretty ride.
It's awesome.
It's too, I was saying this because I was stopping in at Wanamingo, Minnesota for these trips, right? And I thought, there's too bad there's not lakes down here, because it's really pretty. The ride's really pretty. You get the rolling hills, the beautiful farmland, and that's a little further than I thought. I didn't think Harmony was that far south.
So anyway, stop in,
just go there,
say hi, let them know you heard about them here on the Weekly Scramble. You mentioned that drive. So this past weekend, both of my sons were in separate travel baseball tournaments.
It's just starting, isn't it?
The wife and I had to divide and conquer. And I happened to be one of the coaches for my oldest son's team. So obviously I was going to go with him. And my wife was going to go with my youngest. And so we were in the beautiful city of Red Wing this weekend. I love Red Wing. I think it's a really cool city. So he and I, we had a game Friday night. And because I came straight from work, so he rode over with some friends from our home. And then Saturday, we made the trip back to Red Wing, and then we played a couple games, and we came home. This is how much I have passed on my dedication of baseball and my love of the grand old game of baseball to the two young men that call me Dad. We're driving back because, we got a pretty decent thunder shower coming through. I mean, I think it was thunder, wasn't there? There was a little thunder.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
On late Saturday afternoon, early Saturday evening, and I get a call because my wife and youngest were up in Wilmer. So they stayed Friday night, played a game Friday night, and then had a couple games Saturday. She calls me as we're heading back, I would say around 6 o'clock on Saturday. And she said, I'm getting a massive migraine, and it was due to the cold front coming in, because those always trigger migraines from her this time of the year. It's awful, and I feel horrible for her. And she said, we're coming back, and you're taking him back up here on Sunday. And I went, okay. All right. Yeah. So, oldest and I
just give her rub some dirt on it. Get over it.
No,
figure out
no. I wasn't about to do that because she is a trooper.
Oh, she's a trooper. And when she gets this, it's bad.
And I said, all right, well, come home. So it was an early let's watch a movie, have a little dinner at about 8:30 on Saturday night, because I knew it was going to be. Because he had a game at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning in Wilmer. So I thought, all right, buddy, we got to get to bed because we're going to be, we were up at 6 o'clock and out the door at about 6:45 to head back up there. But you know what? I always remember this. I can't remember if it was who told me this. It might have even been Rookie. He said, just keep this in mind because a lot of these times you're going to go, oh, God, that's right. We got to go there tonight. There's going to come a day where there's no more games. Yeah. And I went, oh, you're right. Yeah. And that's the mindset I took. And it was fun because now I get to watch him, kind of, get into the, and they took third. It was fun. It was really, really cool.
You are a different breed because you don't care who or what would be playing baseball.
That's true.
You're going to go watch. You could you could be driving through a town and see a game and you say, let's pull over and watch this.
In fact, when we were coming home from Red Wing on Friday, it was an absolutely perfect Minnesota Friday night last Friday, right?
Yeah.
And we got out of Red Wing, and he had been with his brother all day, and then when they left, and he was hanging out with buddies, so he's playing with them all day. And we got done with the game, and we drove through Meesville, one of the best town ballparks in the state.
Sure.
And they were playing a game, and I said, "Dude, you want to stop?" And he goes, "No, I want to go home."
Just want to go home.
I said, "Yeah, we got to be back here in the morning. Otherwise, we would have stopped to watch a little bit of the Meesville."
And you were willing to do it. You were like,
even knowing we had to come back at 10 o'clock in the morning, I still would have stopped for a couple of innings.
Something very exciting happened to my family today, though.
Oh.
My yesterday old, 16-year-old, as of yesterday, her birthday was yesterday, turned 16, got her driver's license today.
Oh, my.
The very first thing that happened is one of my daughters said, Harper, the daughter who got the license, said, is going to drive me and some friends out to Stillwater to go watch the CDH game. And I said, no, you're not driving the first day you get your license with 4 little kids in the car to Stillwater, Minnesota, 30 miles away. And Stillwater's a beautiful place, but you're not going to drive out there.
Right.
Plus, you can't legally do that. There's a 6-month period where you can't have more than one kid less than 20 years old unless they're family members. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stipulations.
Is that a new law?
I don't know.
Because I'm fairly certain I would have violated that at 16.
Yeah, and I think probably just about everybody violates it. Okay. And I says, well, that's totally okay, but I'm just going to drive here. And I'm like, time out. Let me get home from work, and we are going to sit down, and we are going to maybe make a plan because you are just not going to be gone with the car all day, every day now. Right. But you will be driving your sister's places, right?
Including practice.
Yes, including practice, including to school. They all go to the same school, roughly. So, it's going to be it's going to change my life. I'm going to tell you. Reavers, I'm not kidding. I probably spend, after work, 30-plus hours a week on volleyball.
Oh, I guarantee you do. For sure.
I went to this party, and one of my girls had a team party at this super nice couple's house, right? Just a super nice couple. And one of the dads kind of looked at me because he could tell I was stressed. And he said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "How did I get here? What the hell am I doing here?" It's a super nice house, right? Super nice couple, and they're really nice, just gracious people. But I don't know them. So my kid plays on their volleyball team.
Right.
I don't know them.
Right.
They're, again, very nice people. I barely see people I know. I can barely see my best friends.
Right.
And I'm like, how did I get here? And I'm blaming it on my ex-wife because she is super passionate about volleyball. So passionate, like she was flying back from some other state for business. She's a businesswoman. Yep. And she landed and went right to that party. Drove right to that party.
Got to be there.
Because she wanted to be there.
Yep.
And I thought, all of you people are kind people. All of you are. What am I doing here? I just don't know how how I made it here. So I kind of looked at my daughter and not luckily, but we had my 16-year-old daughter's birthday party last night. So I'm like, we got to hustle. We got to go. We can only be here a couple hours.
We're in and we're out.
It was set for 4 hours. I was like, well, that's a nice time. And do you ever go to people's houses that some people entertain a lot?
The answer, no.
No, okay.
I don't go to anybody's house.
There's 2 different people.
Except for my next door neighbor, and I barely get into his garage.
And you just stand out in the driveway.
That's it.
So there's people that know how to entertain, and then there's people like me that get so stressed out about it. My wife gets stressed out about it. We're making sure that everyone's feet are comfortable when they're sitting down. Like everything's done, right? These people obviously entertained because they're like, grab a chair. There's beer. They were just so cool about it. Yeah. And I thought, I don't know how you could be that relaxed. Like how, and they grilled and it was all just perfect. And I was like, what excellent people. Next year, my daughter's probably not going to be on your team, and I'm never going to see these people again. Right. And that's, I don't know. Have you developed, you're the kind of guy who will make lifelong friends with your son's baseball buddies' dads. I guarantee you will.
Probably. And it's also because I guess I would say I'm a tad more involved being a coach.
Yes.
So I kind of feel like it's almost necessary for me to get to know a lot of the parents.
Sure.
Because I never want there to be blurred lines of communication. Like my sole focus is I want your kid to get better and have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
That's literally all I care about.
Gonna
If
grow
we
their
win, we
skills
lose.
and have
Mike,
fun.
last night we had a game in New Prague. Okay, and my oldest son's team, they're having some struggles, but they're still having fun. They won, I think, their second game of the whole year. They couldn't have been happier, and
Sure.
I seriously felt joy for them because I know how hard they've worked, and I know how frustrating it can be. And that's what I told them after the game. I said, I know losing stinks. It's not fun. I get it. So enjoy today.
Yeah.
Right? Because this was so cool. I'm so happy for you guys because they're good kids.
Sure.
And they work hard. It's just, that those things happen.
Sometimes you get two kids on another team that can hit the ball and it's done.
And
Right.
baseball's always weird because so many things have to go right for you to basically execute one play.
Yep.
And I get that. But to answer your question, probably, probably, I'm going to guess.
They're just going to be guys
plus
that
we
hang out.
all basically live by each other. This is a Jordan, Minnesota baseball team.
That's a little different.
And like for instance, what I was saying, my son rode with his buddy who lives less than a half a mile from our house.
Okay.
They literally picked him up at our house and took him.
We're coming from, for this volleyball,
Yeah.
we're coming from all over
Yeah.
Minnesota. Like kids from Chatfield. Do you know where Chatfield is?
Not only do I know that, that's the team my son played on Friday night.
You're kidding. Well,
No.
a kid from Chatfield's on this team.
Oh, you reminded
That's
me
a
of
long
something.
way away.
Yeah.
That's a long way away from Burnsville.
So, I wonder if I should share this.
You can share
No,
it.
I'm going to share it. I am going to share because I was so bugged by this when this happened. You know how I am with sportsmanship and how I am with, you know what? I'm fine if you want to celebrate a little bit. That's cool. But I'm a big act like you've been there before kind of guy. So this was Saturday and our team had just lost a game. And so we were when it's a tournament format, you're kind of telling your kids, hey, get your stuff. Let's get out so the other team can get in here so they can turn the field over so the next game can start on time. And so hey guys, I know let's get our stuff and let's go meet over here in the shade so that these guys can get in here. So the second we exited said dugout, the other team started to get in there, including two mothers of this team who on the back side of the dugout put up this massive sign of little Jimmy's team. I'm not going to say what town it was, but it was, this was a professionally done banner with each kid on there around the depth. It was a cool photo.
Sure.
It was very cool and really well done, but to attach it onto the dugout as if this is our side.
This is it.
And I looked at it, and they were the only team that did this.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and I went,
they won't be.
And I went, huh. And one of the other dads was standing next to me. He goes, what? I go, and you wonder why we're raising a generation of entitled brats.
Yeah. Well,
Bingo, right there. And again, did the kids do that? No, it was a couple of moms that did that. I just thought, well, that's an interesting way to go about your business.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I kept everything to myself.
You can't say
In fact, I'm
anything.
just going to come on this show and preach to the thousands of people that listen to us.
Yes. You wouldn't say anything to their faces because you're too much of a coward for that. But you can do it on your...
Not even a coward.
I know.
It's just...
You just wouldn't do it.
It's not even worth bringing up. You know what I mean? I just thought, well, that's kind of interesting to see. Because and the only reason I muttered something under my breath to another dad that I know well is because all of the kids on our team looked and kind of went, oh, well, how could... None of them said anything, but I could tell the look of, oh, I wonder why we don't. And then I took a severe amount of joy in watching them get beat by about 18 runs.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
No.
So, in fact, I almost said, oh, man, you should put that on a banner.
Yeah, it's the score.
17-4. You should put that on a banner.
Oh, God.
But I didn't. I didn't say that.
Do you bring a cooler of beer?
No.
Can you do that?
No, not for youth.
Okay. Because we've been playing beach volleyball at bars. It's the world's best. I did tell you the story that my daughter was playing in a beach volleyball game. So it's 2 girls against 2 girls, and one of the other girls was just on tilt. She was just full on bawling, just crying as the game was playing. And I turned to my daughter after the game and I said, "That was so sweet of you to stop serving to her." Because she was just, it was just breaking her, right?
Yeah.
And my daughter looked at me, and sometimes, when kids do something really adultish, she goes, do you think I have the skill to pick where I'm serving it? Like, it just happened to go to this girl 10 times in a row. And then on my 11th time or 4th time or whatever, it went to the other girl. And I thought, I thought you were just picking on this girl. And I was like, oh my God, Harper, stop hitting that girl. Just go to this other child that's not actively crying.
Oh my God.
Tough. Sports are tough. And parents are like keeping this one adorable man on our team. It keeps like track on a spreadsheet of everything that's happening, and it is detailed. And I don't mean adorable to be condescending. It's like he is spending the time, and he's not a nutcase parent. He's like, I just like data analysis, and he's like doing every hit and every dig, and I'm like, look at this guy. And he has to be a statistician or something.
That's
that would be the
okay.
only reason you'd do this.
Sure.
He's like, well, I had a little extra free time. Like, that's the most complicated spreadsheet I've ever seen in my life. Congratulations.
And I work in business.
Yeah, and I look at them every day. And it's really cool. So I'm glad you're just starting to. I'm just getting over the hump now because now I have one driver. Right, I'll have another driver in less than a year, so I'll have 2 drivers out of 3. It's going to be unbelievably
My
cool.
mom did say that one of her happiest days, because I remember her having this conversation with a family friend of ours, because I'm the oldest, and she said, well, are you kind of sad that now your oldest is driving? And she said, oh, God, no. I'm so sick of driving him to this tournament, that tournament, this thing and that, and I worked. She's like, no, now he can do all that, and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, and as long as, there is that, you get scared, like your kid's driving now.
Sure. Oh, right? God. I'm going to be paranoid as hell.
Yeah, and you just don't. I have that app where I can follow this kid.
Yep.
And one of my kids, I'm going to tell a story, and I shouldn't tell the story.
No, please do.
But one of my kids was with some friends and stopped at a Super America or a Superette on Maryland Avenue in St. Paul.
Oh, that's not wise.
Because they live in Mendota. So, of course, you would go to buy snacks at a Superette on Maryland. Oh, by the way, the Superette also sells tobacco-related items.
I think I know exactly where this is located. I would not suggest a young female be doing that.
And, I mean, it was with male friends, right? So the boys said, hey, we need to stop
Those young
there.
boys also have mouths on them.
I know.
Which can instigate something that would happen at a gas station just like that.
I said to my sweet, beautiful daughter, I said, what are you doing? And she's like, what choice did I have? I can't tell them to, she was a passenger in the car with other kids.
Oh, she wasn't the driver.
She wasn't driving. She didn't have a license, right? She's just a passenger. And she's like, what choice did I have? We're going there. And I'm like, you went to some tobacco store. I'm sure the kid wanted to buy chew or vaping or whatever. Who knows what kids buy today? But I was like, what? And so now I have to get this Life 360. Have you ever heard of that? Mm-hmm. It's this app where you can just track your children all the time. So I'm just going to track my children 24/7.
I'm watching you.
I mean, I'm just going to send them texts like, why are you at the Mall of America? Why are you in that store? Because it gets really deep. You can just ping him wherever it is.
Are you sure you want to do that?
I think I have no choice with drivers now. Because what if she just wants to drive to Stillwater? I don't want her to drive to Stillwater. I don't know. Maybe someone can write in because maybe someone else has a better idea.
If they have advice for you.
Because I was just a feral kid. They just let me go.
But that's, I think, an important part of development, don't you think, is to be able to have that kind of trust?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it's the Ronald Reagan trust but verify, right? I trust you to make, and oh, by the way, this kid's a straight A student, a brilliant, beautiful girl. She should never be at a tobacco store on Maryland Avenue.
Here.
With random dudes.
Michael.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
You're the best.
Do us a favor, rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble. We would appreciate it. And please do us a favor and make sure you check in next week's special 10th anniversary of our show with a lot of friends that'll be taking place right in this studio 1 week from today. His name is Mike Fratelloni. My name is Chris Reavers. We will talk to you again then. Until then, cheers. My buddy Fratelloni and I were just talking about this very product. I'm so happy to be a part of Nugenix and Nugenix Total T. Here's the deal, guys. I know it feels like it's harder to get in shape and stay in shape. Well, they're offering a complimentary bottle when you text 231-231 and you enter the keyword garage. Listen, I started to feel a difference about, getting older, my body's changing, and I got really tired of the dad bod feeling, and I wasn't really feeling like my old self. I didn't really have as much time to work out, but I wanted the energy and the body that I once had. So, hey, if you're in the same boat as me and you want more energy to counter the negative physical effects of aging? Well, Nugenix Total T Testosterone Booster with Testofen is going to help you turn back the clock. It's going to re-energize your workouts, and it's going to get you better results at the gym and help you look and feel like the man that you really want to be. Nugenix Total T contains man-boosting key ingredients like Testofen. It's been validated in 5 clinical studies shown to boost free testosterone levels in men. And because it boosts the essential free and total testosterone levels that the aging process robs, you're going to feel stronger, leaner, with more energy and drive, and more passion too. Your partner's going to notice the difference. So get that complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text 231-231 and you enter the keyword garage. Hey, text right now and you're going to get a bottle of Nugenix Thermal, their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Just text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. Text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.